So my desire to learn from him and the passion he holds for the game of football has always attracted me towards him. And for me, that admiration has always that is something indescribable, I would say. And from my coaching career, I've had around 6 years of experience in coaching. I've always looked up to him. So I relate to him in various levels, the way he started his career, to how he carries himself, and the way he handles setbacks. And all these things have been something I've always looked up to. And also, I'm always interested on how he masters his emotions and how he channels his emotions are something I would like to experience and learn from him. So these are some of the reasons I want to write this letter, and I put it on the letter. Yeah.
Good, but Lucy's better, and I like chipmunks, but on my tongue it's wet.
Rimasto scioccato, ovviamente in senso positivo. Era mattina presto, le 7, quando ho ricevuto un messaggio da un ragazzo, Antonio Izzo, che mi girava il video pubblicato da DAZN e da Tommaso Turci. Sono balzato sul letto, non ero in grado di controllare le mie emozioni. Un misto di gioia, felicità e anche un pizzico di incredulità. È stata una carica di adrenalina assurda. Sono Alessandro Recenti e oggi con noi abbiamo un nuovo normal hero, Densing Moses Sebastian Bruno. Hi Densing, welcome in Normal Heroes.
Hello, Alessandro. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you too. So, Dancing, in Italy in the last days, all the television spoke about you.
Okay, that's real nice. Yeah, thank you for that.
So, I want to start with the questions.
Yeah.
So, tell us why you decided to write the letter to Mr. Josè Mourinho.
So my desire to learn from him and the passion he holds for the game of football has always attracted me towards him. And for me, that admiration has always that is something indescribable, I would say. And from my coaching career, I've had around 6 years of experience in coaching. I've always looked up to him. So I relate to him in various levels, the way he started his career, to how he carries himself, and the way he handles setbacks. And all these things have been something I've always looked up to. And also, I'm always interested on how he masters his emotions and how he channels his emotions are something I would like to experience and learn from him. So these are some of the reasons I want to write this letter, and I put it on that letter. Yeah.
And the second one questions. Have you been surprised by the media attention you have received in Italy?
Yeah, I was totally surprised. I was totally shocked. There were lots of media outlets that reported, starting from The Guardian to Tuttosport, or so many AS Roma fan pages and websites which had posted the story. It meant a lot to me. And there were so many AS Roma fans who took their time out to message me to wish my best luck and best wishes. And I was so glad that so many people turned out. And it also showed how much the country of Italy values football. I take this time to thank each and every one of them, to who reported the story in the media outlets, and also the fans who messaged me personally. I feel a lot of gratitude towards them. Yeah.
And tell us your story as a coach.
Okay, so it's always a bit difficult to summarize. I started when I was 15 years old. I started to play the game at my later stages. But 15 years old, I started playing. But even though I was too interested into coaching and was always aiming for something to do in this field, and at some point around 18 or 19, when I wanted to consciously choose a career, I wanted to choose a career where I wanted to lose myself in learning of that art. And I realized it only happens when you're ready to love it kind of unconditionally. So that's when I chose football as the way for me. And then I started to coach even during my bachelor's days, during my second year of college. And I slowly started doing the licenses. I completed the Indian license, and then the A50 license in India, and then the USF license. And slowly I was progressing across the youth teams. And I was also juggling two jobs. I was working as a software engineer and also taking care of my coaching job. So I was always between these two. And then there was a time when this FC Basel from Switzerland came to Chennai City. They came and tied up with Chennai City FC, and so I was chosen for this project. So that's when I left my full-time job and I switched to full-time football coaching. I also did my license, UEFA C license at Wales, United Kingdom, and from then I worked with Mr. Massimo Ceccaroni, who was the head of youth academies, head of youth in FC Basel. So this was some of the highlights of my career, and working with Massimo was something that has been an immense eye opener for me. Yeah.
So, what does being a coach mean to you?
Okay, again, this is a very broad question to answer. But for me, to keep it simple, I feel you cannot teach a man anything, but you can only you can help him find the connection between him. So, to put it precisely, you cannot teach a man anything. You can only help to find within himself. So as a coach, I always try to help the players to find their meaning of football and find their connection with football. Since we all come from different backgrounds, I always emphasize on this, and I want the players to find this connection. And once they find the connection, the amount of intrinsic motivation they have, it just flows into them, and it makes life easier for us as coaches. And the amount of intrinsic motivation they have, it obviously will reflect on the pitch. And also, when I was thinking about this on a deeper level, on what does this coaching mean to me, for me, I ended up writing a quote about that. So, instructions without intentions are for machines. So, some coaches tend to treat players like machines, like they don't want to know the intentions behind the instruction. But as a coach, for me, I took this path where the players have to know the intentions behind my instructions. So, if you're going to do something, then you know, and if I'm asking you to do something, you know what my thinking should be. So, these are all some things which I set upon at the start of my career, and I'm still holding on to it.
I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What is the first thing you say on the first day on training?
For me, the team bonding is the core of every team. So the first thing I would say would start from very simple things, from knowing their name to understanding what they are up to in their careers and what part of their careers are they in and what are their goals. And also, we set and establish the goals of the team, the goals of the individuals, and everything should be set. And I also ask them what an ideal coach should look like, who is an ideal coach for them, and I get the pointers from them. And then I ask them who is an ideal player, and they tell their points. So we just make a pact and agreement before starting of anything. So before starting anything, we just agree to these things, and then we go on about it. Yeah.
So, what training methodology do you use with your team?
For me, again, the training methodology would be to keep things simple and not just focus on one part of the development, but to cover everything like a holistic development. And I like to ask more guided discovery questions. So I don't give all the solutions to my players. I want them to solve them to find the solutions, because that's what happens on the pitch. So I just make sure to ask them more questions and they answer those. And I also don't like to intervene often. I want them to enjoy playing the game, more ball rolling time or more playing time, and also to create as many game situations as possible. I want more decision making by the players, and I keep it as a goal to not to repeat the practices and to have some variety always every day. So that is something I always strive to do. So these are some pointers of my training methodology, and I have been doing all along.
It's very, very similar than my training methodology. Very similar. So, what you write on a billboard to be placed in a sports center? A different question now.
Yeah, that's an interesting question, actually. So I am I like reading quotes and I write quotes by myself. So this is something I'm really into. So the last billboard I placed was a quote from Denzel Washington, where he says, "Without commitment, you never start, but without consistency, you never finish." So this is one of the quotes. And then another one which focuses on the resilience: fall down 7 times, get up 8. It's simple, straight to the point.
Oh, top.
And yeah, and then for me, the intensity of the motivation, like for the players who are starting new or they're coming back, so the intensity of motivation is high, but the stamina of the motivation is less. So I always want to build that resilience, and so these quotes form the core of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How important is the mental aspect in football for you?
Yeah, that's I feel that's paramount for me. During my license course at Wales, they taught me a lot of things which focused on the mental aspect of the game. And now, as more players open up about their mental struggles, we feel there is a huge responsibility for us as coaches and also as spectators to understand the demands of the modern game. And we all want the players to give their 100%, but there are a lot of things which are happening behind the scenes which we might not be aware of. And I want everyone to be a part of the squad first, as I told earlier, and I want them to integrate. I want them to be integrated to the squad so that we all know what each other is going through. And though some are not opening up, it does help in some way to find the person who's right for you. And in my license course, I did learn a lot about how to give a constructive criticism, and then how to sandwich the price. If I'm going to correct a player for his mistakes, first I tell him what he did right, and then I come up with a point which he can improve on, and then I close it with by stressing on that point. So all these things were really really great when I got these insights from that coaching course, and I tried to do it. And end of the day, as human beings, we all crave to be understood and appreciated by the ones we love and by the ones we look up to. So for me, it adds more weightage, and there are these are the things I always want to protect a player's confidence and also to safeguard it. Yeah.
Sounds good. So, how do you structure your training week?
Yeah. So again, it depends on the team, the age group, and the number of coaching days.
Yeah.
Again, I like to keep things as simple as possible. So all my practices are connected, and even from the fun game which we do at the start, I want it to be connected to the bigger picture, the whole topic. So I put all my time to it, starting from the fun game to the end of the practice. It all should be connected for me, and then I follow a 4-step cycle, and it's called as a competence cycle. So the player starts at the unconscious incompetence stage at the start. So he starts from there. He doesn't know what to do. So if I'm going to explain him a technique, he doesn't know how to do it. I'm going to explain it. And the second stage is conscious incompetence, where he knows to do the technique now. He can, for example, I'm teaching the turns. He knows to do the turns, and he moves on to the third stage, which is conscious competence. He knows the technique now, and it is getting transferred to a skill now. So he's caught up in a situation, and I'm asking him to do it. Can you use the turns which you practiced earlier? And he does it. So this is conscious competence. And then comes the final stage, which is unconscious competence, where without me being telling him what to do, he does it at that situation. So my training is based on these 4 stages, where I teach the technique and then move it into a skill, and then create more opportunities for converting them and transferring them to a match day. So this is how I plan to structure my training week.
Very interesting. So, the last question is always particular for us, and I want to ask, what advice would you give to a young coach who wants to start coaching today?
Okay, that's a nice question. And for me, just start wherever you are, whether it's a local team, school team, an apartment team, whatever it may be. Just go ahead and start the work. For me, football is a business of perspectives, and you have to find your perspective, and you have to hold on to it, which is really tough. And when you when you hold on to it, when you embrace it and you experiment it, you learn a lot. And even if you fail with that experience, it's okay. Many think that the perception of many young coaches are like, if I fail, I'm falling backward. But when you fail with experience, you're falling forward. Just pick up wherever you are and get to do whatever, and just stand up for what you are holding on your heart as your perspective of football. So this is what I would want to say. You just start, it may be a wrong perspective, but you have to experiment, go out and do it. And just remember this: when you fall, you're not falling backward, but you're falling forward, and you're going to get up wherever you are. So these are just simple things. I'm still in my formative stages of my career, but these are all the things I would tell to younger me or to an younger coach.
So, Densing, thank you very much for your ability. Thank you very much for all for to be here today, and see you the next time.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
You were good, but Lucy's better, and I like my lungs, but on my tongue it's wet.